Hello everyone, the Flying Scotsman here. Welcome to this episode of the Flying Scotsman Christmas. Now, in this episode of the Flying Scotsman Christmas, we're going to be taking a look at something that really might have been a help to children like myself during the 90s when completing school projects, homework assignments, and other things like that. But before I do, let's paint the scene. Imagine that your childhood self has to do an assignment, and you need to, and as part of that assignment, you need to research a topic. It doesn't really matter what topic it is. It could be anything from the purpose of a nerve cell to the effect of tectonic plates at plate boundaries, something like that. Now, back in the olden days, you might have went to your bookshelf where, if you were lucky enough, your parents would have bought an entire encyclopedia. I mean, that's good. I mean, you'll have all the information there, but it would be in textual format, and you'd have to, spend a lot of time looking over said encyclopedia. And like I said, I mean, if you were lucky enough, your parents would have the encyclopedias there. Because I mean, they're not exactly the cheapest things to buy. Add to that, if you're visually impaired, it can be very difficult to actually look at any encyclopedia. I mean, sure, you can use a magnifying glass, and to be honest, that's what a lot of us did, and that's what a lot of us had to do. But imagine if you're not actually that interested. You've just had a day at school. You don't want to be poring over books and what have you. Well, let's take that encyclopedia off the shelf and put it on a CD-ROM, which is affordable. And while we're at it, let's take advantage of the fact that it is on a CD-ROM, and that computers of the day were starting to have multimedia capability. Sound, video playback, for example. Hundreds of colours on a display. Now here is that CD-ROM. This is Microsoft Encarta 96 Encyclopedia. Or Microsoft Encarta Encyclopedia 96. Just depends which way you want to say it. And what this is the entire works of the 1996 Encarta Encyclopedia on one CD. Now, in the 90s, there were many products like it. I mean, you had, you had Britannica, you had World Books Encyclopedia, you had Compton Multimedia Library. And even Microsoft had other projects like Bookshelf. But Microsoft Bookshelf was more a selection of books that were useful, more for businesses. And, some people might not see it as friendly to actually wade through that, as it would be to wade through something like Encarta 96, which was actually designed for the home market. How do I know it was designed for the home market? It says Microsoft Home right there at the bottom of the disc. So we have Encarta 96, which was actually the third version of the Encarta Encyclopedia CD-ROM that Microsoft put out. First one came in 1994, which I didn't really get to play about with until a few years ago. The second version was Encarta 95, and I did use that a lot in school. But today we have this version, which I also used quite a lot in school. It was actually installed on one of the computers in the humanities classroom, as it was back then. And, you know, I used to enjoy spending break time just, you know, kind of playing about with Encarta because, well, it's quite sad if I'm honest. Anyway, so here we have Encarta 96 Encyclopedia. So, what exactly does it do? Well, why don't we find out? Whoops. So, in inserting the Encarta Encyclopedia 96 CD for the first time, we'll bring up this menu. You can run from the CD or install for faster performance. So, I think we're going to install. Shouldn't take too long. Now, this was the first version of Encarta that was actually optimized for Windows 95. However, there was still a Windows 3.1 version on the CD, so if you install this in Windows 3.1, it'll install itself in exactly the same way that Encarta 95 would. Obviously, in Windows 95, you obviously had the option to run it straight from the CD. But like I said, I mean, I'm going to install it for slightly faster performance. The Encarta Encyclopedia subscription program. Apparently that's the thing. But then again, I mean, this is something that Microsoft did try and push in a lot of versions of Encarta, especially in the dawn of the internet. But we'll go on to that in a wee bit. So, Encarta is now installed, and it's under Microsoft reference, so let's go on ahead and fire it up. So when you start it up, you get this nice wee ditty. Basically a cacophony of cultural and historical events. So first of all, you're actually thrown into this menu, which is actually new for Encarta 96, because Encarta 95, well, actually no, Encarta 95 had, you know, somewhat of a wee menu as well. But this is, well, it actually gives you a list of, you know, just some of the things that you can do on here. Plus, you've got a wee introduction. Tells you what it is. Nice. And then you've got this subscription. And it's basically, you know, how to keep you up to date. You want the Encarta Encyclopedia annual subscription for just $29.95 per CD or $39.95 a year. If you would prefer, you can send us an email message and we'll send you back a form to complete. Just follow the instructions below. So even with Encarta, there was the whole idea of an encyclopedia salesperson. So Let's have a look at some of these menu options. Find will drop you into Encarta's interface and let you just kind of find articles as and when you need them. Look and listen, you've got, which is the multimedia gallery. Now this is something that used to sell electronic encyclopedias back in the day. The fact that it wasn't just text. You had full colour pictures, you had animations, in some cases even video. You also had sound clips, music clips, so that you can actually enrich your learning experience, as it were. Interactive, learn by doing. Interactivity shows you new ways to investigate topics. Take a tour, journey through Encarta. Guided tours allow you take you to places for intriguing trivia or serious study. Explore maps. Explore the history. Play a game. And stay current. Yearbook Builder updates articles and presents the month in review. So, without further ado, let's just kind of go here. And, well, the first article that's selected by default is the letter A. Well, you know, I guess that's a good place to start. And, wee bit of information about that. Encarta does have some quite clever tools that will actually keep you right during research. So, I mean, for example, if we go to the tools menu, you can actually go direct to dictionaries and what have you. You can put note marks on things. Backlist. But one thing that is quite useful to have around is access to your word processor right from within Encarta itself. I mean, it's only a small thing, but you know, if you're wanting to put notes down, in fact, let's do a favourite of mine. Let's research Scotland, shall we? Whoops. Really? Oh, that's right. I didn't select home. So, if I, you know, if I wanted something like the first paragraph of this article, that's not a problem. I can select it. I can copy it. I could even print it if I wanted to. Or I could just kind of go from Encarta to the word processor. Now, by default, it is set to WordPad, but well, obviously I've got Microsoft Word on here, so I'm going to use it. Microsoft Word with a dodgy looking toolbar, obviously, but again, yeah, it's been fixed. You know, boom! I've got the first paragraph. You know, so that's something to get started on with studying. And of course, it will footnote it there so that you're not actually trying to plagiarize it. And then we have some pictures. So, for example, Loch Ness. So, maybe you want to put Loch Ness on there. You can copy either the image or the caption. Go back to Word, boom, place the image there. And admittedly, it's a lower colour version of the image, and it's got, you know, it's got the name of whoever took the photograph. And yeah, that doesn't look that good, if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, we've got, you know, we've got the makings of a good report here. Let's pretend. So we can take a look at the outline of this article. So let's say, oh, I want to take a look, for example, at the Grampian Mountains. I can do that. Oh, look. Grampian Mountains in central Scotland form a natural division between the lowlands and the highlands. Cairngorm Peak, shown here, has an elevation of 1,245 metres and is one of the Grampian's major summits. So again, you know, if I wanted, I mean, I can even print the image if I wanted. So that's kind of nice of it. So population characteristics, and here we get a wee map as well. But what about some of the music in Scotland? What about that? Oh, well, why don't we have a look at some of the media? So, what I can do is, once again, I can type Scotland into here. So we've got, well, we've got a map. Isn't that nice? And I can go to a town about a particular town in Scotland. Let's go to related articles though. You can see we can see you know, any kind of related things. So we've got, you know, different places in Scotland. We've got Highlands, Edinburgh, Church of Scotland, Pict, Caledonia, Alexander the First of Scotland, Edinburgh, University of Robert II, Act of Union, Arran, Free Church of Scotland, Ancient Britain, Edward the First, England, James the First of Scotland, James the Fourth, Scottish literature, Scottish language. Or we can go back to the outline and look. We see some more multimedia, so we can actually listen to what you know, some local music from Scotland. That's beautiful. And sadly, while I can post the image into a Word document and the caption, well, I can actually also copy the audio. But I think that would be more use in PowerPoint. But there you have it. So, you know, if in a Word document, you can just click that. Then there's different kinds of music. Gaelic singing. See, in this, you can actually tell this is an old version of Encarta because it doesn't actually make mention of the Scottish Parliament, which was actually going to be voted on in the next year. It was going to be 1997, And it would be 1999 until Holyrood came about. Yeah, I know, trust me, to bring Scottish independence into an article about Encarta. Look, it's an encyclopedia. It has all kinds of political events in it. So, yeah. So you've got all of this to do in Encarta. But what happens if you wanted to take things interactive? Well, there's all kinds of stuff to do, so why don't we go into Orbit, learn how orbits work and create your own. So we learn about satellite, we learn about the moon orbiting the Earth, comets, Mercury, May, Taylor, Deacon. Now, got the sun, which is the centre of the solar system. So we've got, a nice bite-size, an article put into bite-sized chunks in order to read. So we can now create an orbit. Press an orbit button and then press start. So let's... Oh look, we've got slightly elliptical. So we see different types of orbit and in what circumstances they might occur. So we're seeing an orbit in action. First, drag the small body to any location on the screen. Set the initial velocity by dragging the arrow. The arrows. So let's. So I've created an open orbit there. It'll be back. When? I don't know. But this is quite good for educational purposes, I've got to say. Whoops. Listen, that wasn't supposed to happen. So this is actually quite good for learning. I mean, this is the sort of stuff that kids might remember. I know it's the sort of stuff that I would have remembered if I'd have been left to experiment with stuff like this. So, we can also take a tour. Ooh. They've got personality. Funny people. So basically, I'm guessing it collects a series of articles. Lucille Ball. Pig. So it, it can. I've looked at, funny people, and it's just kind of brought together a bunch of articles, about funny people, as would have been relevant back in the days when this was new. Then we've got the map exploration, so we can find a place and explore its map. And then, of course, a wee plug for Microsoft Encarta World Atlas 96, which was an add-on that you could get, which basically organised articles in terms of, kind of geographical locations. Quite good. You've also got explore history, so you've got a timeline. So here you can explore things in terms of when they happened chronologically. So let's say I wonder if we can bring up anything like I don't know. This is actually kind of huge events, though. So, for example, you've got you know, there was a lot of things that happened in the between the 75 and 95. So, for example, the birth of the computer. I mean, I was originally going to say, hey, can we get from here to something like a Commodore 64? Well, we probably can. So I can go. This has become at this point a game of wiki racers. Microcomputer, bus, mini computer, Kermit, capacity, workstation, time sharing, microprocessor system, computer 32-bit machine, Commodore 64 is not, port application, computer 8-bit machine. There we go. Computer in groups of 8 bits, blah blah blah. So I can look at personal computer. And about where I started. This is good. So we had a wee bit about the Metz Altair. The original Trinity. Yeah. So obviously I couldn't really find the Commodore 64, but I could cheat. And it's not here. That's probably why I couldn't find it. Oh well. But here is something that I can't remember if it was in Encarta 95 or not, but I discovered it in Encarta 96. Mind Maze. Brilliant wee game that you can make use of general knowledge to try and get to a certain place in the castle. So let's show you how it works. So you've got this baroque sounding music. I quite like it. So what we can do is we can light up a torch, see kind of where we're supposed to go. So what I'm going to do is go Life Sciences. Oh, I've bumped in the wrong door. Now I've got to answer a question. In anatomy, break or cracking a bone or an ossified cartilage. I'm going to say fracture. For those of you who've seen like some of my older videos, you'll know that I wanted to be a surgeon when I was younger, and when I was in Encarta, I would always like to go to life sciences and, you know, just kind of read up stuff in there. Oh, considered the most dangerous of the sharks. Great white shark. In pathology, any break in the external or internal surfaces of the body involving separation of tissue and caused by external injury or force. I would say that's wound. I kind of like this. It kind of feels like you're going around a museum. That's kind of the aesthetic I get from this. Especially with the footstep sounds as you go from room to room. Term originally meaning any kind of bird, later applied chiefly to edible species. I'm going to say fowl. You can actually click on things. Oh, never mind me, I'm not a criminal, just an ordinary guy who likes to sit in the stocks now and then. No, really, no need to pelt me with rotten tomatoes or anything. No, sir. Just solve your puzzle and be on your merry way. Forcing of air into and out of the lungs of one person by another person or by mechanical means. Artificial respiration. Members of the second largest insect order. Insect order. Butterflies and moths. Oh wow, okay. I was right. Mammal also known as a donkey. Ass! One of a pair of glands whose function is the elaboration and excretion of the urine. Well, isn't that nice? Common name for carnivorous or blood-sucking worm, once widely used by physicians and barbers for blood-letting and still used for this purpose in some regions of the world. Leech. Click the stairs on the stairs to continue your quest. So that is Mind Maze. And I've actually done a lot better at this time. But there you have it. That's Encarta 96. Ironically enough, it would seem that this video is going to end in the opposite fashion to a lot of my other videos. Especially my Retrofest videos, because they tend to end when I need to leave the office. But in the case of this video, I need to leave for the office. But that's Microsoft Encarta, and you know, I had lots of fun with that in my childhood because, again, I was a sad individual. But I think we can save this report, Scotland.doc. And how'd you like my cherry keyboard as well? It's the ML4100. Nice. Not a bad wee keyboard. Can't really tell what layout it is. If anyone can pause it and tell me the layout of this keyboard so I can set it properly on my machines, that would be great. Pause the video, feel free to do so. But for now, thank you all for watching this video, and I hope you'll all join me for my next one. Cheery bye.